On the day of the court verdict, my fiancé Nathan urged me to abandon my innocent plea and sign the confession. I know you're innocent, but Hailey's carrying my child. I can't let her go to jail. He sobbed dramatically while clutching my hands. Mandy, I'm doing this for your own good. I signed the plea deal without hesitation. In my past life, I'd refused to take the fall for Hailey. Not only was I imprisoned, but a furious Nathan had me tortured until I became permanently infertile. This time, I'd give him exactly what he wanted. The next day, headlines exploded with news of my alleged corporate espionage. Hailey even testified as an eyewitness. That's her. I saw her infiltrate Lewis Group myself. But during the afternoon hearing, Plaintiff Victor unexpectedly dropped the charges. Under the courtroom's stunned gaze, he produced a diamond ring and knelt before me. Mandy, will you marry me in this lifetime? The moment I signed the confession, calculation flashed through Chris's eyes. When I glanced at him, he instantly morphed his expression into agonized concern. MJ, I'll hire the best lawyers for you. Once you're in prison, I'll pull every string to get you early parole, Chris vowed, oozing fake sincerity. I swallowed my sneer, answering coldly, "Don't bother." He feigned panic. MJ, I know you're devastated, but you can't give up like this. What about your parents? His performative worrying continued. Had I not lived through his betrayal before, I might have believed this act. Last lifetime, after I rejected the plea deal, he'd fabricated evidence to imprison me. Worse, he paid inmates to violate me with surgical tools, stealing my chance at motherhood. Rage simmered in my veins. He'd orchestrated the Lewis Group espionage through Hailey. Why did I, the innocent one, suffer most? MJ? Chris's voice snapped me back. You look pale. I dug nails into my palms. Just nervous about prison. When he tried to hold my hand, I subtly shifted away. His momentary surprise gave way to triumphant glee over the signed confession. He carefully stored the document in his briefcase. I'll submit this to the judge at the hearing in 3 days. Don't worry, I'll keep it secret until then. After processing my bail, Chris opened the courthouse car door with his signature protective hand above my head, just like he'd done countless times during our 3-year relationship. But everything had changed. Let me drive you home, he murmured tenderly. Home? I nearly laughed. Our once memory-filled villa now reeked of unfamiliar perfume. Every trace of my minimalist style had been replaced by gaudy decor. The place I'd loved no longer existed, just like the man pretending to care beside me. The wedding portrait that once hung prominently in the living room now lay discarded in the storage room, covered in dust. Chris flinched when he noticed me staring at the photo frame, his face briefly flashing guilt before resuming that sickeningly devoted expression. Mandy, this was all Hailey's idea, he began, voice dripping with faux concern. You know how emotional she gets during pregnancy. I turned away without responding, striding toward the master bedroom. The moment I opened the door, cloying perfume assaulted my senses. Scattered across the rumpled sheets lay lingerie that definitely wasn't mine. A framed photo of Hailey nuzzling Chris' shoulder dominated the nightstand. You brought her into our bed? My voice could have frozen hell. Chris rushed to explain. It's temporary. Once the baby's born, I'll make her leave. Save it. I cut him off, moving toward the walk-in closet. I'm just here for my things. My hands stilled when I found the space overflowing with Hailey's designer outfits. My own clothes had been crammed into a suitcase and tossed in a corner. Mandy, don't be like this. Chris reached for me, his touch making my skin crawl. I know this hurts, but... I jerked away, hoisting the suitcase. My phone chose that moment to buzz with a news alert. Breaking, former Johnson heiress admits to stealing Lewis Group trade secrets in plea deal. The comments section exploded. OMG, the Johnson princess actually committed corporate espionage? Always knew she was covering for Hailey. Lock this bitch up for good. My hands trembled as I stared at Chris. You promised this would stay confidential. He had the decency to look ashamed. I tried. Mandy. But Hailey's also a suspect. With the baby coming, I had to protect her. Cold clarity washed over me. It's fine. I pocketed my phone. The trial starts in 3 days anyway. Relief flooded Chris' features as he grasped my hands. You'll understand once this blows over. I'll take care of your parents while you're away. I wrenched free, retreating to the guest room. When midnight silence enveloped the penthouse, I dialed a number I'd sworn never to use again. Mr. Lewis? This is Mandy. We need to talk. At dawn, I was buttoning my coat when Chris blocked the foyer. Where are you going? Errands. I bent to tie my boots. His hand slammed against the door. You're out on bail. If anyone recognizes you, move. Fingers like a steel vice gripped my wrist. Don't test me, Mandy. Chris' breath hit my face. All pretense of gentleness gone. You've caused enough trouble already. Mandy, you better understand your current situation. I struggled violently as Chris dragged me upstairs. His fingers digging into my flesh like steel clamps. Seems I've been too lenient with you. He abruptly released me and snapped his fingers. 2 men in black materialized instantly. Lock her in the basement until the court hearing, Chris ordered. The men began binding me with coarse ropes as I glared at him. Chris! You're actually imprisoning me now? The man's obsidian eyes darkened. This is your doing, Mandy. The basement reeked of mildew. Its only illumination a flickering bulb. Chris stood silhouetted in the doorway. His voice glacial. You'll stay here until trial. His henchman shoved me forward, sending me crashing into the concrete wall. A pained groan escaped my lips as my shoulder throbbed. Chris's gaze wavered momentarily before he gestured for them to remove the restraints. From his pocket emerged a necklace glittering with paved diamonds. Mandy, contrition tinged his voice. This custom piece was meant as compensation. I stared coldly at the offered jewelry. Think this bauble will placate me while you bury me alive? I still care for you, he insisted. I barked a laugh. Your version of caring involves framing me for your mistress' crimes and locking me in a dungeon? Before he could respond, Hailey's saccharine voice trilled down the stairs. What a stunning necklace! The blonde snatched the velvet box. Is this mine, Chris? This is for, he began. I'm keeping it. Hailey clasped the diamonds around her neck with a petulant pout. Mandy's going to prison anyway. Such waste on a convict. Chris glanced between us before sighing. Fine. Keep it. Not content with her victory, Hailey yanked off her tarnished silver chain and tossed it at my feet. Here, this should suffice for her. Chris pretended not to notice her cruelty. See how considerate Hailey is? I'm sure you'll grow close. My lips twisted at the dull necklace glinting pathetically on the floor. Also, Chris added, since Hailey's pregnant and you, given your fertility issues, I'm calling off our engagement to marry her. The word stabbed through me despite my preparation. But I'm not heartless. He continued. After your release, I'll arrange housing and employment. We did share. His sentence hung unfinished as Hailey clung to his arm, the diamond pendant catching the dim light like frozen tears. I sneered, cutting him off. Chris, do you really think I'd believe your bullshit? Hailey looped her arm through Chris's, looking at me with contempt. Don't be ungrateful, sis. Chris is being merciful. Who else would want an infertile woman like you? My fists clenched until nails bit into palms. Pain kept me grounded, reminding me to bide my time. Not yet. When the basement door creaked open past midnight, I looked up to see Hailey sauntering in on stilettos. Must be nice, she purred, surveying the concrete floor. No pregnancy means you can sleep anywhere. Not like me. Needing Egyptian cotton for our precious air. Get out. I hissed. Her hand caressed her flat stomach. You know why you never conceived. Mandy? Chris has been slipping contraceptives into your meals for years. Enough to sterilize you permanently. My blood turned to ice. What? He needed proper grounds to dump you. She whispered. Now he can divorce the barren wife and marry the mother of his child. Rage erupted. I lunged. My slap cracking across her face. You scheming bastards. Hailey staggered back. Then deliberately collapsed with a scream. The door burst open as Chris charged in with bodyguards. Hailey! He cradled her dramatically. Mandy! What have you done? She tried to kill our baby. Hailey sobbed into his chest. That's a lie. She fell on purpose. Chris's eyes turned arctic. Restrain her. Rough hands pinned me against damp concrete as ropes bit into my wrists. Chris. You poisoned me. His jaw twitched. So? You're unworthy of carrying Ferguson blood. He ripped a leather whip from the wall. The first lash split skin. This is for Hailey. The second strike came before I could scream. And this for our endangered heir. By the 99th lash. My screams had turned to whimpers. Chris tossed the bloodied whip aside. Drag her to the courthouse. I want her confession by dawn. They hauled my broken body across concrete. Each movement reopening wounds. Darkness threatened to swallow me whole as they threw me into the SUV. By the time I rushed to the courthouse, dawn had broken. Thanks to Chris Ferguson's financial clout, the hearing had been expedited. The moment I was dragged into the courtroom, Chris's lawyer sprang to his feet. Your Honor, my client wishes to plead guilty. We request immediate sentencing. As the judge prepared to deliver the verdict, the courtroom doors burst open. All heads turned as Victor entered with legal counsel and a medical team. His immaculate suit and icy demeanor radiated authority, yet his eyes betrayed undisguised anguish when they locked with mine. As the plaintiff in this case, I formally moved to drop all charges. He announced. I also demand immediate medical attention for my fiancé Mandy. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Camera flashes erupted like lightning. Chris shot up from his seat. Face purpling. Mr. Lewis. What's the meaning of this? Victor ignored him completely, kneeling before me with trembling hands that carefully untied the ropes around my wrists. MJ. I'm here now. He murmured, velvet voice cracking. My weakened gaze met his stormy eyes, the same eyes that had stared into mine as flames consumed us both in our previous life. Victor, his name caught in my throat. Tears spilling as I realized he too remembered our shared past. He cradled my face like porcelain, thumbs brushing away tears. Don't be afraid, MJ. I've got you. At his nod, medics swarmed to assess my injuries. When they peeled back my shirt revealing the lash marks, Victor's composure shattered. Who did this? His whisper froze the entire courtroom. Chris straightened his tie with shaky hands. This is a private family matter. Family? Victor's laugh held arctic winds. From his breast pocket, he produced a diamond ring that glinted like captured starlight. The very ring he'd never gotten to give me before our deaths. Mandy became my family when she accepted this. He declared, sliding the band onto my finger as reporters gasped. Since when does that concern you? Chris's composure cracked. Impossible. She signed the confession. Victor rose like judgment incarnate. That document was coerced, rendering it void. He snapped his fingers, and an aide projected damning evidence onto courtroom screens, security footage of Hailey sneaking into Lewis Group's archives, followed by crystal clear audio. Hailey, once we steal Lewis Group's chip tech, we'll dominate the industry, Chris's recorded voice declared. Then we can finally dump that useless Mandy. Hailey turned ghostly pale as Chris exploded. This is fabricated. You're framing me. Victor. The courtroom descended into chaos. But I barely noticed. Victor's arms encircled me. His heartbeat steady against my ear as he carried me past the shouting mob, our second chance finally beginning. The judge banged the gavel. Order in the court. New evidence has emerged, necessitating retrial of this case. Defendants Chris Ferguson and Hailey Ferguson, charged with corporate espionage, will be remanded into custody immediately. Bailiffs moved forward with handcuffs. Chris thrashed violently, glaring daggers at me. Mandy, you treacherous bitch. How dare you betray me? Hailey erupted into hysterics, venom dripping from her words. Sister, you're pure evil. I'm carrying a child. I observed them coldly. Chris, it's your turn to experience 99 lashes. As bailiffs dragged them away, their curses echoed through the courtroom. Mandy, you think clinging to Victor makes you untouchable? I'll destroy you. Victor shielded me behind him, his voice glacial. Focus on surviving prison first. Chris. Turning to the judge, he added, given their violent tendencies, I request a restraining order protecting my fiancé. The judge approved, and bailiffs forcibly removed the screaming pair. After proceedings, Victor drove me not to that nightmare-filled mansion, but to his penthouse in the financial district. My reopened wounds seeped through bandages. Victor's hands trembled as he settled me on the sofa like handling shattered porcelain. The doctor's en route. I smoothed his furrowed brow. Just surface injuries. He gripped my hand hoarsely. I should have found you sooner. Perfect timing. I leaned into his shoulder. This lifetime, we didn't miss our chance. In my previous life, framed and imprisoned, I'd endured hell. Inmates acting on Chris's orders destroyed my uterus with frigid instruments. When the prison medic declared me sterile, I'd been too broken to react. Then chaos erupted outside. Mr. Lewis! You can't. The infirmary door exploded inward. Victor staggered in, blood-soaked and missing a pinky finger. Unconscious guards littering the corridor behind him. His eyes shattered upon seeing me. MJ. I'm too late. His ragged voice cracked. That bastard Chris blocked all news about your arrest until this morning. Alarms blared as he scooped me up, our mingled blood smearing escape routes. Leave me. Don't throw away your life, I whispered weakly. He tightened his hold, charging through gunfire until we reached a dead end. The torches of pursuers lit up the night sky. Victor suddenly turned and pulled me into a crushing embrace. Mandy. The explosion swallowed his confession. When the heat wave hit, his body became my final shield. What's wrong? Victor wiped tears from my face. Only then did I realize I was crying. His thumb ring glinted under the lights, the same finger that had been severed in our previous life. Just remembering things. I smiled through tears, leaning closer. When the doctor arrived to treat my wounds, Victor's knuckles cracked audibly as he saw the scars on my back. They'll pay, he growled, eyes swirling with dangerous storms. I squeezed his hand. Don't dirty your hands. The law will handle this. After the doctor left, Victor personally applied ointment. His burning fingertips traced each scar with feather-light touches. Does it hurt? The suppressed rage in his deep voice made me shiver. I shook my head, but he continued hoarsely. When I found you last time, you were already. His voice broke. I turned to bury my face in his shoulder. It's over now. All of it. His arms locked around me like steel bands. Mandy. He vowed against my hair. This lifetime, I'll let no one harm you. 3 days after Chris and Hailey's arrest, the Ferguson family posted astronomical bail. That evening, as I read on Victor's penthouse balcony, the doorbell rang. The security monitor showed Chris in a tailored suit holding blood-red roses. His courtroom meltdown erased beneath a polished smile. I hit the intercom. Get lost. His smile faltered but quickly reformed. Mandy. I know you hate me. 5 minutes. Please. The desperation in his voice made me pause. Why let him off easy? I sauntered to the door, leaving the chain engaged. Chris's eyes lit up before catching on my diamond necklace, Victor's engagement gift. His jaw tightened. You're really marrying him? Leaning against the doorframe. I smirked. What? Should I marry the monster who nearly beat me to death? All color drained from his face. No. That wasn't, I lost control, misunderstanding? I sneered, yanking my collar aside to reveal the unhealed lash marks on my shoulder. 99 lashes. Chris. You counted every single one. Chris's breath hitched, panic and remorse flashing through his eyes. He collapsed to his knees, crimson roses scattering across the floor. MJ. I was wrong. I swear I've learned my lesson. His voice cracked, eyes bloodshot like a man truly shattered. In another lifetime, I might have softened at this performance. But I remembered with crystalline clarity last time. He'd wept just as convincingly while begging me to take the fall in court, only to sleep with Hailey in our beach house hours later. Seeing my icy expression, Chris trembled violently. His shaking fingers gripped my jeans hem, tears splattering the marble. MJ, remember our first meeting? You were helping that little girl reach a library book. Sunlight haloed your hair. He choked out a sob. I proposed that same day. My jaw tightened despite myself. Memory fragments surfaced, young Chris working 3 jobs for my birthday gift. The time he'd stayed awake for 72 hours during my pneumonia scare. His tears pooled around my slippers, warm like when he'd comforted my nightmares. These past nights, his broken whisper raised goosebumps. I keep seeing you bloodied, asking why I betrayed you. He suddenly drew a switchblade. Before I could react, steel plunged into his thigh. Blood gushed as he smiled wretchedly. First lash repaid. The blade rose again. I lunged, security chain clattering as I grabbed his wrist. Coppery blood stung my nostrils. For one fractured moment, his desperate embrace almost undid me until I saw Hailey in the doorway. Pregnant. Glaring. Reality crashed through. No amount of tears could erase his past betrayal. Once a cheater, always a liar. Cold resolution steadied my voice. Keep your life. Keep your repentance. And I won't even give you a chance to atone. Leave now. Chris's face drained of color. But before he could speak, Hailey burst in, clutching her pregnant belly. Her bloodshot eyes glared at me as she grabbed a vase from the entryway console. Mandy. You shameless bitch. She shrieked. Chris is begging you like this. And you still dare to act superior? Enough. Chris roared, making Hailey jump. The vase shattered at her feet. She stared at the man she loved, crimson nails trembling. You yelled at me? For this, Baron. The slap echoed before she finished. Chris rose painfully, eyes bloodshot. If you hadn't gotten caught stealing, we wouldn't be in this mess. I never would have been with someone this stupid. He turned to me desperately. Mandy. It was Hailey who seduced me. She's the reason I betrayed you. You're the only one I love. I looked down coldly at his performance. Hailey nearly collapsed at his words. Chris. You were the one who. Chris kicked her mid-sentence. Shut up. Don't you dare lie to Mandy. The woman stumbled back, designer hair now matted across her face. Clutching her stomach, she suddenly screamed. Chris. This is your child. She ripped open her maternity dress to reveal a rounded belly. But when she pressed it, the bump collapsed unnaturally. The air froze. Chris's pupils constricted. Where's the baby? I blurted. Hailey frantically adjusted the slipping silicone prosthetic before snatching a decorative candlestick. "This is your fault." She hurled it at Chris. "You made me fake the pregnancy." The candlestick grazed his temple, drawing blood. "Are you insane?" He wiped his face and lunged for her throat. "Your stupid scheme ruined everything." As they struggled, Hailey scratched bloody streaks across his face. "Who," said Mandy, "was infertile, planned, fake pregnancy, frame her." Ice flooded my veins. They'd been plotting against me for 3 years. "Bravo." Victor's voice cut through the chaos. Leaning against the doorway, he twirled a recording device. This confession beats surveillance footage. He moved to shield me, cold gaze pinning Chris. The man instantly released Hailey, who collapsed gasping. "Mr. Lewis." "This is all a misunderstanding." Chris Ferguson tried to flee but was slammed back into the blood-stained carpet by 2 bodyguards. "Misunderstanding?" Victor Lewis smirked, frost creeping into his smile. "Was it also a misunderstanding when you broke into my home the moment I left the country?" He leaned forward, knuckles whitening on his armrest. "Chris, did you really think self-inflicted knife wounds and cheap theatrics would make me forgive what you did to Mandy?" Chris ground his teeth before ripping off his meek facade. "Cut the sanctimonious bullshit. Victor, Mandy's infertility is irreversible. You expect me to believe the CEO of Lewis Group would actually marry a barren woman?" Spittle flew from his lips. "You'll discard her like trash eventually, just like I did." Victor's dress shoe connected with Chris' ribs in a sickening crack. "Projecting your mangy cur behavior onto others?" He jerked his chin at the guards. "Get this filth out of my sight." Hailey Ferguson was tossed out with equal disdain. When the commotion faded, I tentatively met Victor's gaze. What Chris said about "don't." His thumb brushed my cheekbone with devastating tenderness. "I chose you, Mandy. Modern medicine gives us options: adoption, surrogacy. All I care about is you recovering." Tears soaked into his Armani shirt as he carried me to his Hamptons estate. The billionaire CEO canceled all meetings, personally changing my bandages and feeding me chicken soup despite my protests. "You have no idea how many nights I've lost imagining alternate timelines," he murmured against my forehead one evening, laptop glowing with untouched merger documents. His shuddering breath warmed my neck. What if I'd returned from Tokyo 2 days earlier? What if? I silenced him with a finger to his lips. We both knew the answer: no corporate empire could undo the cigarette burn snaking across my back. He became my shadow, even holding my hair during midnight nausea spells. Sometimes I'd wake to find him tracing my features like a blind man memorizing scripture. "Victor?" I'd whisper. "Right here." His palm would immediately cradle my face. "Painkillers wearing off? Let me." I'd tug his collar instead, drowning in his cedarwood scent. "Sleep. You have that antitrust hearing at 9. He'd chuckle darkly, sliding beside me with surgeon-level caution. "The DOJ can wait." As weeks passed, my skin knitted itself back together. Victor's paranoia didn't. "The Fergusons still have connections," he growled, thumb circling the handcuff scars on my wrist during breakfast. I pushed away my oatmeal. "You can't bubble wrap me forever." His teeth grazed my earlobe, igniting forbidden fireworks. "Watch me." When I jokingly cited false imprisonment laws, he pinned me against the sub-zero fridge, devouring my laughter. "File the lawsuit," he challenged between bruising kisses. "I'll pay your legal fees." The morning sun found us tangled in silk sheets, his heartbeat syncing with mine. Some wounds, I realized, couldn't be treated with bandages or antibiotics. But as Victor's lips ghosted over my newest scar, a jagged reminder below my shoulder blade, I understood our damaged pieces fit together perfectly. But the judge should rule me innocent. Why? Because, he leaned close to my ear, voice gravelly. "I love you too much." 3 months later, the Ferguson Group declared bankruptcy. Chris and Hailey received 10-year prison sentences for corporate espionage. Rumor had it during sentencing, Hailey tearfully shifted all blame to Chris, claiming he deceived her with sweet talk to join his criminal schemes. When Chris heard this, he lunged at her in open court, fists flying. The dog-eat-dog brawl turned chaotic until bailiffs finally separated them, resulting in additional charges for both. By then, I'd stopped caring about their fate. My injuries had fully healed under Victor's meticulous care. Dawn light filtered through gauzy curtains onto the bed. I awoke to find Victor gazing at me with liquid tenderness. "Morning?" He brushed a kiss across my forehead. "Don't forget your follow-up appointment today." I nodded, warmth flooding my chest. The man who'd sacrificed his life for me in our past existence could now grow old by my side. Almost forgot. Victor's lips quirked as he retrieved a velvet box from the nightstand. Inside lay a diamond necklace, the very one Chris had pretended to gift me. How? My eyes widened. Chris liquidated everything for legal fees during his final days. His expression hardened before softening when meeting my gaze. I had specialists track this down at auction. As he fastened the clasp, Victor suddenly knelt, producing a colossal diamond ring like a magician. "Mandy," his usual composure cracking with flushed cheeks. "Last lifetime I never got to marry you. Let me fix that now. Will you marry me?" I laughed through sudden tears, extending my hand. Yes. 1,000 times yes. This time, our happiness would last.